Hey everybody, welcome to the Mark Parham podcast. If you're on Spotify, please follow me. All you have to do is just type in Mark Parham podcast and just follow me on Spotify if you get a chance. Thank you. I wanted to talk about what's his name, Mike Pence. Again, I look at a lot of news. Like I said, even though I'm not a fan of MSNBC or CNN, but I just look at a lot of different news channels and stuff. And I've looked at Mike Pence. He keeps on making comments, and this man is the definition of, I think the term is a turncoat, if I'm not mistaken. This guy goes on TV, and every chance he gets, he, tries to separate himself from the MAGA movement, and he tries to separate himself from Donald Trump. And the crazy thing about it is, when he was Trump's vice president, he would get on camera and, talk about, Trump was doing very well and the policies that they were, trying to put in place. And then, now that Trump is going through, the indictments and stuff like that, he's totally turned his back on Donald Trump and he's acting like he was never vice president. And, to be honest, I think he's the worst vice president in history, in American history. I'm not necessarily saying that because of, his job performance or anything. Again, I didn't really see what he did, in the White House that was spectacular. But to go on television and these news outlets and then, act like you weren't around when Donald Trump was making decisions about things, 4 years ago? That's insane. I don't think he even has a shot to, become president of the United States. I don't think Mike Pence will ever be the president of the United States. I think it's one thing, he was the vice president, but I don't think he's going to move up to be president of the United States. People can see through this guy. He seems very phony. He's given these weird interviews, and I think I saw one interview with Tucker Carlson where he was just acting like he didn't care about the American people. I mean, Tucker asked him a question. It was like, oh, well, whatever. That's not a guy that you want to lead the Republican Party. That's not a guy you want to lead a sandwich shop. Somebody who doesn't care about the people around him. He might be on this, running for president thing to sell books. I don't know, but he's never going to be president of the United States. I don't think this guy has a shot in hell, as they say. He's almost like, what's his name? Chris Christie. Chris Christie, is the governor of New Jersey. And they basically got him, they told him, well, why don't you run for president? And he's been like the attack dog against Donald Trump and, saying Donald Trump is a crook and Donald Trump, has done this and done that. But again, he was another person that when things were on the upswing or when things were doing very well with Donald Trump when he was first elected, he couldn't get enough of Donald Trump. He was around him and smiling and laughing. So it's just amazing how so many people have turned on Donald Trump now that the indictments and all this other stuff are coming out. These are the same people that would go to Mar-a-Lago and, everything was cool and, we represent the MAGA movement, and they've turned their back. I even saw one story where I think Mike Pence tried to do a town hall and some of the, MAGA supporters were protesting him, and I don't blame them. A lot of people are fed up with American politics, and they're fed up of, just politicians that say one thing and do another thing. People can say all they want about Donald Trump. I mean, again, you're not going to agree with anybody 100%, but he wore his heart on his sleeve, every once in a while, but he said what he was going to do. And I can't take that from him. And I'm saying this is somebody who used to be a former Democrat. Now I'm a libertarian, but Trump says it, he means it, and he's going to do it. And a lot of this crazy stuff that you see happening around the world where you have leaders that are, saying, that they're going to do this to America or making fun of America. They didn't do that under Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump would say something and he probably was going to do it. But with Joe Biden, nobody respects this guy. I mean, I think right now America's become the laughing stock of the world. I mean, there's leaders that are coming out. They're doing things they would have never done before. And I think it's crazy that you have people like Mike Pence that have the nerve to go out there, go to these town halls and act like, oh, well, that, I can't believe that happened. And, it's almost like he's, I don't know, like he thinks the American people have amnesia. Like, you were there for those 4 years as Trump's vice president. And so, to separate yourself now, it's horrible. I think his political future's over. The only way, he can ever come back is maybe they'll give him a position somewhere in the RNC, like they did, what's her name, Ronna McDaniel, who's, another corporate Republican. But I think Mike Pence, his political career is over. He'll probably, and I hate to say this, but they'll probably end up giving him a job at Fox News somewhere, like they always give all these other folks. But I just think what he's doing is horrible. I don't think he has a chance of winning, and he's crazy if he thinks the American people are going to vote for him, especially considering how many fans Trump has. I mean, Trump has fans around the world. Like, the MAGA movement is something real. I know that some of the liberal press and liberal media tries to act like, the MAGA folks are a bunch of people in, Iowa somewhere or Wisconsin somewhere on a farm field. But no, there's folks who support the MAGA movement that live in cities, that live in California, Florida, it's all around the world, London, so it's a real thing. But I just wanted to come out and talk about that because, I've never, Mike Pence he's just strange to me. Even when Trump picked him, it's just like Trump did him a favor. But that's just my view on Mike Pence. And also with this election, have you been looking at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? They keep on getting Kamala Harris to come out and sort of do the sister girl act. Kamala was, talking about slavery and, all of this other stuff. And they just Biden uses Kamala whenever they need the black vote. And I saw some news story where black people aren't supporting the Democrats like they did a few years ago. I think every few years, black people wake up more and more to the Democrats. And they realize that they're doing nothing for the cities. They're keeping the borders open. They're not doing anything about crime. And if you look at the crime issue, that affects black people a lot because black people have to live in those, neighborhoods and stuff like that. And so that whole, remember the defund the police situation where people are saying defund the police. Well, why are you going to defund people that are going to keep crime low? If you sit up and get rid of cops, then, neighborhoods like in Chicago and stuff like that are going to almost turn into a third world country. So I think the defund the police movement is very stupid. It was very naive. And, all the Democrats and liberals got behind it. They don't talk about it much anymore, but it was a dumb idea. And I think Kamala Harris is one of those people who was on the whole BLM movement, and she's a phony. Wherever the wind blows, wherever she can pick up a few votes, Biden sends her out there to get the black votes. I think recently she was at some black fraternity and talking to a bunch of sorority sisters and stuff. Like, black people are seeing through that little by little. There's still a lot of people that are on the, as I like to call it, the Democrat plantation, but black people are slowly waking up. And even if you look at Joe Biden is, it's like he's suffering Alzheimer's. He doesn't know where he's at. He's falling off of bicycles. His speeches even sound weird. He's looking all over the place. He's become a laughing stock. If I were a leader of another nation, I would say, what's going on in America? And to think that people are going to elect this guy again, and it's very strange. And I really hope that black people sit this one out. At least if you're going to vote, try voting for a Republican this time. Do something different. But to go to wake up in the morning and to vote for someone like Joe Biden, it's crazy. This man he's lost it. If you look at him, there's video of him tripping, I think up the stairs when he was trying to get on Air Force One. Just crazy stuff like that. So I don't know if Biden can, handle another 4 years. If he's having problems right now, remembering where he's at and, how to do certain, basic things, I don't know what the future holds for him, 4 years from now. So that's all I want to say. I just wanted to, do a podcast on, what's going on right now as far as Biden and Mike Pence and Kamala. I think they're all just horrible politicians, and America's got to do better. At least, if you're not going to vote for a Democrat, at least try out some of the Republicans. Do something different, especially in the minority communities. They can't keep on using the, the Republicans are racist sort of boogeyman all the time. So, again, like I always say, I like to ramble, but please follow me on Spotify. All you have to do is just type in Mark Parham Podcast on Spotify, and I'm right there. Thank you.